A food shortage in the UK is forcing some supermarkets to ration fruits and vegetables. And as CTV's Vanessa Lee tells us, British consumers are dealing with fallout from a combination of factors.
We've been to a couple of different supermarkets today, and there are a lot of empty shelves, a lot of signs that say temporarily out of stock. And so that is why more or less every grocery chain here has put limits in place. The one that we went to today called Aldi puts a limit on the number of cucumbers and tomatoes and peppers that people can buy. So it's a limit of 3 per customer. And the sign says it's so that there is enough to go around for everyone. And really, and at other grocery stores, it's not just the 3 items I just mentioned, but there's also raspberries that are in short supply. So they're limiting those, as well as bagged salad and cauliflower as well. And there are a couple of reasons for this. The first one that you mentioned is weather. So the UK gets a lot of its produce from Morocco and Spain, which has been hit with adverse weather, everything from drought to heavy rain and even a cold snap. It was actually snowing in Morocco yesterday. And Spain has also been hit hard, and its tomato crop is 20% smaller than it was last year. And this combined with another issue, because there's a lot of produce that is grown here in the UK as well, but there are local farmers who didn't grow as much this year because of high energy costs. They use the heated greenhouses, and because of skyrocketing costs, they did not grow as much. And so that is why we are seeing this shortage at the supermarket.
U.S. households express concern over escalating grocery expenses due to a substantial disparity between the authentic growth rate and the officially reported food inflation rate, presently hovering at approximately 15%. Farmers, food producers, and retailers have collectively cautioned that numerous grocery categories will witness a minimum 10% price surge this year. Our belief is that proactively addressing these unpredictable price fluctuations is key, and therefore we have curated a catalog of 15 food products anticipated to experience notable price hikes in the coming days. 1. Frozen snacks, once a convenient option for ready-made meals, have become increasingly unaffordable for many households. Since August, the average cost of Hot Pockets has risen from approximately $2 to $3.50, making it excessively expensive for individuals on a tight budget. Unfortunately, this upward price trend is expected to persist into the following year. 2. According to Bloomberg, the unprecedented surge in oil and egg prices, the 2 key ingredients of this iconic sauce, is anticipated to maintain price volatility for an extended period. If you consider $1.10 for a regular-sized jar of mayonnaise to be excessively high, be prepared for an even more jolting shock in the upcoming months. 3. The price of oats has been surging rapidly, outpacing the increase in oil prices on global markets, possibly attributed to the bankruptcy of one of the major oat milk producers, Oatly, last year. As a result, store-brand oatmeal costs have surged from $1.99 to $3.99. 4. The escalating cost of flour has also affected ramen, resulting in a 2-fold price increase at various retailers. Consumers are already feeling the impact of the soaring flour prices, as discussed in a Facebook group dedicated to the prices of beloved food. Just recently, a customer named Genovia M stated that prices didn't simply rise, but rather skyrocketed like an Olympic pole vaulter. I vividly remember purchasing a pack of ramen for a mere 25 cents, which was a lifesaver for me on tight budget nights. It was always within reach, tucked away in a corner. However, when I recently encountered it again after a hiatus, I was astounded to see it priced at 45 cents. Nevertheless, one might argue that 45 cents can still be found if you look hard enough. 5. The price of a jar of pickles has risen by approximately 20% compared to a year ago, as observant individuals may have noticed. This escalation can be attributed to a scarcity of glass jars, which has been impacting the industry throughout the entire year. Food manufacturers are facing higher expenses for production and distribution of this beloved product, and they are unhesitant to transfer these increased costs to consumers. This suggests that we may not have witnessed the peak prices just yet. 6. Pineapples have experienced a significant surge in prices over the past 2 years, soaring by an astounding 78% since 2020. This surge can be mainly attributed to the escalating costs of essential supplies such as carton boxes for transportation, fertilizers, machinery, and labor shortages on farms. These factors include the scarcity of aluminum, which has played a role. Within a span of just 24 months, the price of canned pineapples has skyrocketed from 79 cents per can to $2.22, marking a staggering 120% increase. The primary pineapple producing countries, including Indonesia, Thailand, and the Philippines, faced a year of severe drought, flooding, pest infestations, and reduced supplies. 7. In December 2021, the cost of organic grapes in North America stood at $4 per kilogram. However, recent reports from the French Fruit Portal indicate a significant price disparity, with the same quantity of grapes now priced at $12 in the United States. This surge in prices has alarmed consumers and experts alike.
So some anti-hunger advocates say new SNAP requirements in the debt ceiling bill could limit access to food for some people in need. Consumer reporter Heather Sullivan is looking into this for us tonight.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act of 2023 expands the work requirement for SNAP recipients from age 18 to 49 all the way up now to age 54. So that'll require able-bodied adults who don't have dependents to work or participate in approved job training programs for at least 80 hours a month to receive more than 3 months of benefits over 3 years. Now, Republicans say this will help people get jobs and reduce the need for benefits. But anti-hunger advocates No Kid Hungry says many recipients already work, and this creates a lot of red tape. And No Kid Hungry estimates this would put 44,000 Texans at risk of losing food assistance over the next 2 years.
That's the disconnect, right? Most Texans and Americans are experiencing inflation. We're experiencing incredibly high grocery costs, and so what we don't want to do is make it harder for people in a climate that's already really challenging to have access to food.
The Congressional Budget Office says that the changes would actually slightly increase the number of people in the program because veterans, the homeless, and young people aging out of foster care would be exempt. Heather Sullivan, Fox 26.
Not one Republican should vote for this deal. It is a bad deal.
But I feel very good about it. I've spoken to a number of the members.
And now President Biden is facing resistance from progressive Democrats who oppose parts of the deal, including new work requirements for some receiving federal food aid. With that debate in Washington, D.C., there is talk right here at home about part of the agreement, more work requirements for Americans who are 40 and older and want to receive food assistance.
But the proposal will remove barriers for veterans and homeless adults. Today, News 5's Nadine Abusada went to food pantries that would deal directly with the effects of any SNAP benefit changes.
Meet Dale Kramer, who's a Parma man that loves his city.
I was born on Brookview Boulevard, which is 1 block over that way.
So much that he's been volunteering at the Parma Hunger Center since 2002.
Check the orders for the families that are coming on a particular day.
At the drive-through pickup, they say they've recently seen more people.
This is as of the end of April, and we're already on pace to wind up with about 3,000 families.
Kramer believes the increase is due to inflation, increase in Ukrainian refugees coming into Parma, and changes to SNAP benefits. He's not alone. Dan Flowers with the Akron Canton Food Bank is seeing those same increases.
If you were to look at all of 2023 compared to 2022, we're up 33%.
Along with a decline in donations, to the point that he's been advocating to the state to increase funding for Ohio food pantries.
We're giving less food to more people, and we really need the State General Assembly, the Senate, and the governor to support this increase of funding for Ohio's food banks. We're in a tough spot.
Experts at Case Western say SNAP benefits are a crucial program for so many in the country.
It's one of the most along with Medicaid, is one of the most far-reaching of our social safety net programs.
In D.C., there are discussions of changing work requirements that apply to those 49 and younger to 54 and younger. Under the change, if you are 54 and younger with an able body with no kids, you must work or participate in training programs for at least 80 hours a month to receive benefits.
Work requirements do have a negative effect on receipt of SNAP benefits, partly because it's another hoop to be jumped through. It's hard enough just to get enrolled in SNAP.
If the change goes into place, Flowers predicts less people will get the benefits, which means food pantries will continue to see more visitors.
There's an obvious correlation between the funding that's in the SNAP program and how many people come through emergency food lines.
They just hope more donations will come their way as well as they continue to feed those that need it most.
You're helping other people. You're doing something to benefit others, to give back for all the help you've had all through your life.
Reporting in Cleveland, Nadina Busada, News 5.
The Western media is ignoring the story about what's happening to Western currencies. No coverage in the Wall Street Journal, no coverage in the Financial Times, no coverage in Bloomberg. Oddly, this story is being suppressed everywhere. A shady group of globalist elites who run our monetary system very quietly rolled out the new way that you will bank and pay for goods, where you'll buy your meat, your eggs, buy your gas, your petrol. All of these things will now be functionally controlled by this group. We've been warning about this for a long time on this channel, and you're starting to see a lot of the pieces come into place now. We told you about how the Fed Now program is rolling out in the United States. We've already seen CBDCs being rolled out in other countries as well, but this is the umbrella CBDC that would go over all of them. They're a secretive group of, quote, sovereign states, central banks, commercial and retail banks, and other financial institutions. Is that sufficiently vague for you?
Now, to talk about this, John, you've hired security guards in your grocery stores. Has that helped?
Well, you know, we act a little bit different. When you fire employees for stopping shoplifters, the board of directors better fire the CEO for doing that. That is the dumbest thing I ever had. You know, we are almost under control because it's tougher to shoplift in one of our stores. I mean, the old joke I'd say is we carry a Rocky Colavito bat, and just the fear alone that our people carrying a Rocky Colavito bat is enough. You know, the tough survive. Right now, we're living under the law of the jungle. I've said to the governor, I've said to the mayor, I said to everyone that I don't care if somebody steals a loaf of bread because they're hungry, but professional shoplifters that come in, wipe out stores, professional people that are killers, repeat violent offenders, repeat. These people don't belong in civilization. When are people, who is still voting for these people to be in office? There's certain people do not need to be in civilization. If they're violent criminals, over and over and over again, enough. If they go in and wipe out the entire store and shoplifting for less than $999 and not get arrested. I mean, this is our society, our cities are not going to survive.
I hear you, and I hear it from everybody. I hear it from people every day. When you don't fear the consequences, what are you going to do? And you're criminally minded, you're going to go in and help yourself. But I want to get onto this subject. The owner of two major San Francisco hotels, I think the biggest and fourth largest, they've just stopped making mortgage payments on their $725 million loan. The CEO says, look, the crime-ridden city's on a path to recovery that still remains clouded. The local politicians are doing nothing, and downtown San Francisco turning into a ghost town. You know, what can San Francisco do? And also, let me ask you this. Are you concerned that New York could head down that same path if it's not already?
Well, if you go up and down the streets of 3rd Avenue, 2nd Avenue, Lexington Avenue, all the major streets in New York City and Manhattan, the stores are half empty. And now, because nobody's paying the MTA, they walk in the subways, $1 billion is missing from the subways. You know what they're going to do? They're going to charge congestion pricing and take that $1 billion from outside people to pay for the $1 billion that nobody's paying for the subways. Now you got all empty stores already. Now you're going to make Manhattan a complete ghost town because they're trying to rob Peter to pay Paul.
Regional bank stocks have taken a major hit on Wall Street in recent weeks, with PacWest leading the slide.
One reason is their commercial real estate investments are losing value. As we've reported, many buildings are sitting empty.
Yeah, and so now we're learning all that empty space could start to have an impact on your finances. Here's CBS correspondent Carter Evans.
I mean, when you look at it, you say this is where a Google should be, Facebook should be.
Chris Rising's commercial real estate company spent $35 million remodeling this historic Los Angeles building into an epic office space, and it's nearly empty.
The building is about 300,000 feet, and we've leased 2 floors out of the 11.
Nationwide, there's an epidemic of empty office buildings. In Los Angeles, New York, and San Francisco, less than half the office space is occupied, and many of these buildings are financed with short-term bank loans.
I see a tsunami of loans coming due that can't be refinanced.
About $1.5 trillion due by the end of 2025.
I think you're going to start seeing a lot of defaults on office buildings.
Patrick Carroll manages a real estate portfolio worth more than $7 billion.
Do you think what's happening now could cause more banks to fail?
I mean, absolutely. You could see bigger banks get in trouble. You could see a run on all small regional banks, and that could put us right back to where we were with the financial crisis of 2008.
A recent Pew study suggests that a third of workers in the U.S. who can work from home now do so all the time.
Unfortunately, it's really the perfect storm. You know, these buildings are worth less than they were when they were originally financed, and interest rates being up, valuations down, they're not going to be able to refinance these buildings. It's really going to get ugly.
And the fallout could impact everyone.
People's retirement investments are tied up in real estate like this all over the country.
All over the country and in every major city, because these were seen as very safe investments. I think the next 2 years are going to be very, very difficult.